Country Podcast.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Doggone Country Podcast. My name is Tyler Barron. Got my buddy, Mr. Justin Bryan, over here.
Oh, yeah, we back.
Good
been a
God.
while.
We hadn't recorded an episode in...
A while. It's been probably a good month and a half, man.
We were in your dining room because it was so hot out here that we couldn't breathe.
Yep. So we recorded in my shop. We got a little... I got one quarter insulated and just haven't done the rest of it yet. So we got it all set up out here. But, boy, it's hot in July in Tennessee.
Yeah, it's rough. That's not bad right now, though. The sun's kind of down. But a lot's happened. Velvet season has came and gone in the state of Tennessee. And you got a pretty good one.
Yeah, I did. Tyler was in Canada. He was in Newfoundland playing a couple gigs, and so I was rolling solo in the tree. So Tennessee, I know everybody was commenting on the pictures of my deer. Everybody's like, "Where's he deer hunting? It's not even illegal to deer hunt right now." So Tennessee, this year it was August 23rd through the 25th.
Yeah.
23rd, 24th, 25th.
That's when I was in Canada.
We have a early velvet season. So it opens for 3 days. You have 3 days to kill a velvet deer. And then season goes out and regular season comes in end of September. And yeah, man, we had a couple bucks on camera that were good deer. I wasn't really sure if I was going to kill one or not. I had one deer that I thought I might shoot. You know, it was a pretty good deer, and I'll be darned if that wasn't the first buck that came out that night.
That's so stupid.
I mean,
Was that the first day you went?
yeah, it was Friday. Friday night, I didn't hunt Friday morning because you can't get in there in the morning
No.
at 5:30. I mean,
That's where they're bedding at.
I'm just gonna blow all the deer out of the cornfield and everything else. So I didn't hunt Friday morning, and went in there Friday night and said it was 92 degrees. I mean, it was rough.
Dude, that's nuts.
But yeah, man, it was a really cool hunt, and like I said, I've had hundreds of pictures of this deer, and this is one of the only deer. Normally, camera makes it look bigger,
Yeah.
and
This one looked, the cell phone, I didn't get to see it in person, but the cell phone pictures you sent me of that deer, I was like, I knew it was big, but it didn't look crazy on the trail cam picture. It looked big,
didn't.
but the pictures you sent me,
He had some really cool stuff. He had a flyer off his one G2, actually G3, off his G3, and then he had a bunch of stickers all over the place. And I mean, he looked like a cool deer on trail cam, and I was thinking maybe 130-inch deer. You know, I knew he was older. I knew he was 4.5, 5.5 years old. He was giant bodied deer, big swaying back and belly, and I knew he was old enough to shoot. I just didn't know if I wanted to shoot him because of, you know, he wasn't that big rack wise. I didn't think. And man, I got in the tree probably too early that day. I got in there about 4:30, and it was just miserable. I knew I wasn't going to see anything until at least 6:30.
oh yeah.
Sunset was 7:30. You could hunt till 8. I think legal shooting time ended at 8:01 that night, and about 6:30, 6:35, I turn around and there was a little fawn come in behind me. So I watched her, and she went down to there's a pond that I was hunting over that's kind of dried up. It dries up every year, but there's 2 spots that still had water in it. She went down there and got her drink, and then went up to the cornfield, and next thing you know, she went into the corn and then came back with another fawn. So they were down in the water playing, chasing each other, and I'm just watching them for like 30 minutes.
Yeah.
And next thing you know, dude, they just stopped. Ears went forward, and they were just staring down. I call it the tunnel because there's like
That's what it looks like.
a dried creek bed that comes into that pond that just, I mean, it's just a dark tunnel when you look down through it. Well, they were just staring down through that thing, and I was like, there's another deer getting ready to come out. I know. And so I had a bunch of stuff in the way, so I'm trying to lean over in the stand and keep watching. And I'll be dang, man, if it wasn't the biggest one we've had on camera, come out first. He comes down to the water. I can't shoot him. He's at like 32 yards. And I knew as soon as I saw him, I was like, wow, he's way bigger in person.
Yeah.
And I mean, I had time to study it because it was all on film too. So I had time to sit there and watch him for like 10 minutes while he drank water and just calm myself down and be like, is it really as big as I think? Because I feel like if you've been hunting for long enough, you've definitely had a buck run in the rut or something chasing a doe, and you're like, it's a giant, and then you shoot it and you get down to it, and it's not quite as big as you thought it was.
Did you see one from a tree? Well, even that archery buck, my first archery buck, the one I got last year.
Yeah.
Me and you shot it, and we're like, I think that's a giant. I mean, it was a decent deer. It wasn't bad, but it wasn't.
I thought it was a 130-inch deer.
Yeah, I did too.
But I mean that's what I'm saying. That happened in the blink of an eye.
Yeah.
And really, I didn't care because you never killed a buck with your bow. So I was like, Tyler, shoot him. But, yeah, man, like we were sitting there or I was sitting there and he come out and like I said, I got like 10 minutes, man. He's just drinking. And here come 3 more bucks come in and they come running down the edge of the cornfield. They come down to the pond and I don't know how long I would have waited on that deer if those other bucks didn't come in, because they come down and all 4 of these bucks that are on me within 30 yards or over
they come down the
120
tunnel?
inches. No, they came down the edge of the cornfield. The big one came out of the creek
so
bed.
they're almost at your back.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So lo and behold, the oldest, biggest deer came through the most secluded spot he could.
Yeah.
The other 3, even though they're pretty good bucks too, and they will be really nice next year, all 3 of them.
Yeah.
They're all younger, and like I said, they're probably, that one 8-point, man, he's beautiful. He's probably 125, 130-inch deer right now. But I studied him, man. I calmed myself down. I'm like, is he really as big as you think he is? And I looked at him from every freaking angle, man. I mean, and I'm like, yeah, I'm definitely shooting this deer. I've never killed a deer over 140 inches in Tennessee. I have in Ohio, but not down here. And I've freaking hunted my butt off for it, man. So he just, every move he made took forever. Like, just, I'm not kidding. I bet you this lasted for 15 minutes. And he's within 30 yards before I could shoot him.
Yeah.
And finally, one of those other bucks kind of went up behind him and nudged him. And then he started walking to me, and he was going to come right up under me and go to the bean field behind me. And that's what they were doing. That's what I thought they were doing, at least. I thought they were bedding in the cornfield. And I'm in this strip of woods in between a cornfield and a bean field. And there's this little pond in the strip of woods. I figured, hey, they're bedding in the corn. They're coming and hitting this water, and then they're going out to the bean field in the evening.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly to a T what those deer were doing. And the other buck kind of nudged him, and then he turned, and he was getting ready to come right. I mean, like 10 yards, perfect. And he did. I mean, he came up the hill, and, yeah, I put a great shot on him, and he didn't go anywhere. But, man, when I got down, I was pumped up.
Oh,
I couldn't
I
couldn't even get a hold of you.
No, I didn't have service. I was in freaking Newfoundland, Canada. Like, I mean, it's you ever been to West Bottom in Newfoundland? That is boy, that's in the middle of nowhere. I love it up there. It's freaking awesome. I got some great friends that been flying us out there for the past couple years. But I called it before you left. I told you. I told my girlfriend too, Addie. I said Justin's gonna get a big one. I said I know it. I said that monster's gonna walk in there. I said I don't know why. I have a feeling. I said, but I just have a feeling he's gonna shoot a big deer while I'm going.
And I had no idea, man. I really didn't. Like, the thing about a trail camera, man, and I tell myself this all the time, even if you're not getting deer on your trail camera, it does not mean that the deer are not there. I had 8 deer on me that night, all within 40 yards, and I only had one of those fawns on camera the whole night.
Isn't that crazy?
I didn't get any of those bucks. I didn't get any. There was 2 other little bucks that came in right after I shot him. There was a big doe. I mean, I had deer everywhere. From 7 until 8 o'clock, there was just deer everywhere. And I mean, in the tree that we put that stand in, man, I literally climbed down the tree with a mature doe at 45 yards, and she didn't leave until my feet hit the ground. She didn't see me climbing out of that tree.
Dude, where that stand is.
This tree is just gnarly. But so I didn't tell you the whole. I don't think I told you all this. So I just got my side-by-side back. We had to put a new motor in it. So I come home. I call my buddy Zach because you're gone. And I'm like, hey, where you at? And he's like, I just left Guitar Center in Nashville. And he's like, I'm an hour out. And I'm like, dude, hurry. I just killed a good buck and I need help. Like bad. He's freaking huge. And he died coming up out of that pond. So he was just like 5 feet down a little hill.
Yeah.
Man. And he had velvet on his rack. So I couldn't, you can't just go tugging on the antlers and stuff.
Yeah.
So I couldn't move him, dude. I mean, I could not budge that deer. He was so big body-wise, and I'm like, shit. So I'm like, all right, I'll go home, and I should have done this before, but I had to come back home and find my knives and everything. I ain't touched them since last year, and got all cleaned up and got changed, put some blue jeans on and stuff. Got my knives washed, and I get everything in the side-by-side I need to get him out, and then Zach shows up. Like I said, just got the side-by-side back, got a brand new motor in it. We go down there, and we finally get this deer up out. We literally had to use the side-by-side even after he was gutted to pull him up this little hill because we couldn't move him. We could not move this deer. It was one of the biggest body deer I've ever seen in my life. We get him pulled up, and it was hell trying to get him in the bed of the side-by-side. So while we were trying to get him in the bed of the side-by-side, after we just pulled him up the hill, I told Zach, I said, go ahead and shut the side-by-side off while we're loading him up. So he goes up and shuts the side-by-side off. We get the deer in the bed of the side-by-side, and like I said, it's 92 degrees. At this point, it's probably like 85 because it's after dark, just after dark. I jump in there. I'm soaked. I'm just ready to get the hell out of here, man, and turn the key, and it just clicks.
No.
Yeah. I thought I forgot to tell you this part.
Damn it.
So now we're way the hell back in here. We got my buck in the bed of the side-by-side.
Had they cut the corn yet?
No.
Or is it still standing?
No, it was standing corn.
So then you can't even get to it.
Yeah. So if the cornfield was cut, we could have just...
You drove your truck across it.
Yeah, you could drive your truck straight across. I mean, it's like maybe a quarter of a mile walk. But with the corn up, it's 3/4 of a mile. Or a mile, because you got to go all the way around the cornfield to get to the spot. And there's also
that big ditch and stuff, so you can't get a truck around it.
No, you can't get a truck in there. So I'm like, shit, man. I don't know what to do. I'm like, I have no idea what to do. I don't have a wireless battery pack at home. So I'm like, which I'm going to invest in one now.
Yeah, those are good.
But, so I called my neighbor, Mike, and I'm like, hey, do you got a, jump box? And he's like, yeah, man, I got one. So I had to talk Mike through how to get down there to where I hunt, where to pull in at, where to park the truck. And we had to walk all the way back, get him, walk all the way back in there, jump it. Luckily, it started right up. Then we could ride it out, So we get back here. Then we got to move the deer from the side-by-side of my truck, get it to the processor. We didn't get home that night until like 12:30, man.
Dang.
But it was a freaking fiasco, man.
That's worth it, dude. That deer's a stud.
Yeah, he's big, dude. He was he's big. We put a tape on him. He was 145 and 4/8.
Dang.
So
that's a good deer. Well, yeah. I didn't realize how big he was until our good buddy, the other Mike, who lets us hunt that property, he shot a monster last year. Mm-hmm. And you sent me the picture of them two side by side because y'all were taking them to the taxidermist.
Yeah.
And I was like, holy smokes! I didn't realize your deer was that big till I seen that picture.
Yeah, frame wise, he was bigger. Mike's deer was like 2 inches.
Yeah.
No, maybe an inch wider. I think he was an inch wider. But Mike's deer was
deer was wide. That was a big deer.
Mike's deer was a wide, typical 10-point.
That thing was huge.
So
I knew how big that deer was because I'd seen it.
Yeah. So Mike's deer was just a wide, typical 10-point. Didn't have nowhere near as much mass as mine did, really. at least his bases were the same as mine, but mine carried his mass all the way out, and Mike's really didn't. So
Yeah.
we taped both of them that night, and Mike's was like 150 and an eighth, and then
Dang.
mine was 145 and 4/8 because mine's an 8-point. Mine's a mainframe 8-point. His is a mainframe 10. So that's why he got the 5 inches. But man, 145 as an 8-point is
It's a good deer, buddy.
that's a freaking stud of an 8-point, man. I don't care what anybody says. It looked like an Ohio deer, man. It really did. And I don't know if this means we're going to have a bad winter, but I'm serious. I've always heard
hope
that.
not.
I've always heard that.
God, I
But
hope not.
man, when I went to gut this deer, I've never seen, even the processor here, he goes, I've never seen this much fat on a deer.
Really?
There was literally 2 inches to 3 inches of fat on this whole deer's body.
Really?
The only thing that didn't have fat on it was like from mid legs down. Everything else was just covered in fat.
That's crazy.
Like a lot of fat. We literally stayed at the processor after he caped him out and everything. So for me to take him to the taxidermist, we stayed there for 45 minutes while he just shaved fat off this deer.
Dang.
Yeah, I've never seen.
What's the thought behind it? They're putting on fat because it's going to be cold.
I don't know, man. Come November, he's just going to run it all off in the rut.
Yeah.
But I don't know, man. I have never seen a deer with that much fat on it. I mean, it's just.
That's crazy that you and Zach couldn't budge him. I mean, that's got to be a.
No, dude.
What do you think he weighed?
I don't know. We tried to weigh him at the processor because the processor was like, I want to weigh this deer. And we couldn't get his scale to work.
Dang.
He just got a brand new digital scale. He's never used it, and we couldn't figure it out.
Dang it. Boy, that makes me ready to go hunt now.
I bet you for a Tennessee deer, I'm telling you that deer was probably 300 pounds on hoof. If it's not, it was really, really, really close.
That's crazy.
Dude, I've killed a lot of bucks. I've never killed one that Zach couldn't even pick up his head to hand it to me while I'm standing in the side-by-side. I mean, I literally had to kneel down in the bed of the side-by-side, and we both grabbed his head, and literally it took both of us to pull just his front half up enough that I could get my legs under me and stand up with him, and that was, I thought I was going to have a hernia.
Speaking of that, I seen something so cool on Instagram the other day. Somebody built an aluminum bed.
A winch rack?
An aluminum flatbed for a side-by-side. And where the back window is, it had like the bars that go up like this, and on the top of it, it had a winch.
Yeah.
And they're using it for deer hunting.
Yeah,
So
hell yeah.
So you could just pull the deer up on the flatbed.
The only thing that would suck about that is if it stuck up too high and you were in the woods and stuff, it would hit, everything.
Yeah. Well, this one just stopped like right at, it was a little higher than the roof, but not much. It's pretty sweet.
Man, I wonder if I could make something like that to weld onto the frame of my side-by-side. That way the bed would still dump. Then you could tip the bed up.
This bed's still dumped. They made the flatbed where it would still.
Well, if you tilted it up and then you winched him up in there, and then once he was, mostly in there, then you slam it down flat.
That'd be the move.
And he'd be in there.
That would be cool.
That'd be sweet.
Yeah.
That's a good idea.
I know.
But yeah, so I got my deer at the taxidermist. That's my first velvet buck. That's going to be a while. He's got to ship the rack off to get freeze dried.
That's what say. What do they do to velvet bucks when they taxidermy them?
Well, so there's 2 ways they can do it, which is pretty cool. And I'm just now learning about it. Like I did my research.
I've never even been in a place where you can hunt during the velvet. I've never been because last year I didn't go, and this year I was in Canada. I think I was in Canada both years, honestly.
Yeah, I
think it's kind of falling the same week every time.
Next year you're gonna have to change.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to be like, we're gonna have to move this at least 1 week forward or 1 week back.
I've never done it. I mean, I hunted last year. No,
last year you didn't go last year. I think we had to play. We had shows because it's always on the weekend.
2 years ago, I hunted the velvet for like 1 day, and I just didn't.
Yeah.
I didn't really have anything. And
well, in Tennessee, you damn near have to hunt it in shorts and a cutoff.
It's so hard not to get busted. That's the thing that's
you're
always
just sweating.
Jesse almost killed a freaking monster last year, dude.
I remember that.
Like,
there's no way you're not going to sweat. You can't in Tennessee during the velvet, like right now. There's no way you're not sweating.
Jesse was 8.5 months pregnant, or 8.
Yeah. Because
8 months pregnant.
that's
7
what
months?
happened last year. Me and you were playing a gig together, and you're like, somebody's going, dude, because there's a ton of deer coming out. And we get to the gig, you're like, yeah, I dropped Jessie off, and I stuck her in the blind.
Mhm.
And she was like pregnant.
She was huge in the blind with a damn. She had nothing but a sports bra on.
Yeah.
I put her in the ground blind, and
that was funny.
she was sending me pictures. She's like, "There's bucks in the field," and she zoomed in on her phone, and it was a bean field last year, and all I could see was racks, and I'm like, "Holy shit, she's gonna kill a freaking monster tonight."
Should have had that raven. She might have got one.
Yeah, she said they got to like 60 yards,
Dang.
and then she got busted by a doe.
Yep.
That's the thing about this time of year, man. It's so hot. You're gonna sweat. You're gonna sweat like crazy.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and even if you don't sweat, they can still smell you, but it makes it way worse, you know?
Yeah.
But, man, that was the thing, man, about this year. I was so worried. Like, looking back, if I could have changed anything about that hunt, I would have let that deer get a little bit further out from where he was. And, I mean, I had a clear shot. I put a great shot on him. That's all fine and good. But I just bought that, what's the name of the brand?
Painted Arrow.
Painted Arrow.
Yeah, I got to get one of
I
those.
bought a phone. It's a thing that goes on the stabilizer of my bow that holds my phone.
Yep.
Well, all of it was video. That's how I know I watched that deer drink for 10 minutes.
I know.
Because it's all on video.
What's I know what you're getting at.
And if I would have just let him go 3 more steps and then shot him, the shot would have been clear in the camera. But man, like I said, I had 8 deer within 40 yards.
Because what you sent me, you can see the deer, and there's a huge. I guess it's a branch. I hadn't been up in that stand, so I
Yeah.
don't know exactly. I know where we hung it, but I hadn't been up in it to see what you're looking at. There's a branch coming off, and all you see is the deer and that branch. It looks like you shot through the branch. So you
Yeah,
don't actually see the arrow hit the deer.
Yeah.
But if he would have come out further, you would have seen it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I actually shot right over it, but
Yeah.
from the camera,
It looks like it went through it.
It looks like it went right through it, but I was so scared that deer was going to win me, or one of them was going. I mean, I was just covered up in deer, and I was trying not to get busted drawed back, and I finally got drawed back on him when he was coming up through there. And at the time I shot him, dude, I bet I was drawed back for at least a minute.
Really.
And
Shout out Painted Arrow, man. What a good invention that is.
yeah, it's
Do
cool.
so my one hold up on it was the fact that it goes on your stabilizer. Do you feel like it messed with your bow at all?
No,
I think it.
it adds weight to it.
Do you
but
think I think it sits close enough to your bow that it doesn't.
Yeah,
do you think it messed with the balance of it?
no,
Okay.
no, I moved
That's what I was wanting to know.
I've moved my back bar a little bit just to kind of,
Kind of offset it.
yeah, but that's about it. I
That's
mean,
awesome.
it doesn't really. I mean, I haven't shot 60, 70 yards with it on there, but I mean, I'm not going to kill a deer at that far anyways with my
Yeah.
bow. I don't. So the only thing that which it's not the company's fault, obviously, is
No, I mean it's for the product they got's freaking awesome. Like, cause how I mean that's the issue you run into. Like if you're trying to film your hunts yourself, cause I've been trying to work out a way to like get my GoPro somehow like a universal rig that I could take with me that's small, that it will fit in my backpack. It's not taking up a lot of room. That'll fit somewhere onto all of our stands. That won't be in the way.
yeah,
That I can also have the remote and hit record. That'll be like facing where we're shooting. But I mean,
Yeah.
like, say if you have the GoPro facing here and the deer's over there, you're gonna miss it. But if you got your camera, if your camera's on what you're shooting, you're always pointing
well, that's why.
at where the action's going down.
Yeah, but the problem with a bow or a gun or crossbow, whatever you shoot, when you shoot, it's gonna, you're gonna have the recoil on the camera. That's the problem with that thing.
Yeah.
And I've toyed with it, shooting at targets in my backyard and everything else, and
Yeah.
it's really hard to see the impact. You can't really see the impact
Because it's
because it's clear, obviously, until the shot goes off,
yeah.
which is really what you want is the shot.
Yeah,
You know,
you want that, yeah.
So, I mean,
And
it's cool.
They got the boom arms and stuff too, that same company, but it's like, damn, man, like sometimes that stuff happens so fast, like you want to be able to like trying to adjust the boom arm and like good, but I would like a good way for us to like video our hunts without necessarily having to have
Yeah.
somebody else in the tree with us to do it.
Yeah.
But I haven't figured out like the best. They make like the hat mounts for the GoPros and stuff, but none of those fit good. They all like kind of fall off. They don't hold it. They kind of flimsy.
I mean, the thing is, if you're shooting a compound, you're gonna have to tilt your hat like that.
I know.
To even get what you're shooting. I mean, you're shooting like this.
I know.
So your camera is gonna be pointing that way, and you're shooting this way. So I mean, that don't really work either. The best way to do it is have your GoPro on your tree facing you, so you get you drawing back and all that, and then have a cameraman or self-film with a video camera on an arm.
But not even for content though, just for like, because I mean, you know how it is when you shoot something. You always want to see where you hit it. You think you know where you hit it.
Yeah.
You think you do. But then there's always that little voice in the back of your head, and you're like, did I see what I thought I've seen? Did it really go in right behind its shoulder, or did I hit it high? Or was it far back?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because we did that on that deer you shot with a fixed blade. Because it didn't bleed. And I was like, you smoked that deer. And you were like, yeah, I smoked it. And then we got down there and we started looking, and there was no blood. And me and you were both like, well, maybe you hit it back. Maybe you hit it here. Maybe you hit, you know what I mean? But if we'd have had it on film, we would know. And you did smoke it. It just didn't bleed.
You always start second guessing yourself. I mean, yeah, and I don't know, man. I experimented. That's something that I don't think we've talked about on here.
You experimented a bunch last year.
I did.
On arrows, like which I mean, you ought to do that. We ought to do like a tour of your shop and post that on Doghone's Instagram just so everybody can see what's going on. But you got a whole archery shop over here.
Yeah,
you're like taking clients. You got some people coming in. You're like working on bows and doing the whole thing. Yeah. So you were like, I remember last year you were like MacGyver. You were like, I'm gonna order this and I'm gonna put this, and if I move this here, then maybe this will do that. And I was like, all right, buddy. When you figure out the best solution, that's how I want you to build my arrows. So I'm gonna let you do a whole bunch of shit. When you figure out what works the best, you build mine like that.
Well, I did. I had some decent arrows laying around. They're not really expensive, so I was able to toy around with them and mess with weights and stuff, and it was really neat. I got to watching YouTube and different podcasts, and there's a guy called Ranch Fairy. Yeah, they call him Ranch Fairy. His name is Troy. When he swears by like 600 to 800 grain arrows, like really really heavy arrows. Yeah, shooting really slow.
What pound? I mean, what poundage is he pulling?
70.
70.
I mean, he swears for women, kids, everything. Like he wants heavy arrows.
There's a squirrel. Need to catch that for early May.
Oh my gosh.
Justin's been trying to catch squirrels for squirrel dogs, and he can't find none. Yeah. And there's one right there. While we're busy.
I'm not going to kill the squirrel. It is squirrel season right now, though.
I guess it is here.
Yeah. I'll put him in the crock pot. So, yeah, he swears by heavy arrows and single bevel fixed blade broadheads. Okay. And I can't think of the name of the company. I can't see the package from here, but I ordered some single bevel broadheads last year. I tuned my bow, tuned my arrows, just toyed with all that, which I knew how to do that, but that was fun, just because they don't fly like mechanicals. I don't care what anybody says; they just don't. And
well, they're not gonna. They're just. I mean, look at the profile of a mechanical broadhead, and look at the profile of even the smallest fixed blade that you can find.
Yeah. Well,
it's going to be a little different.
So I messed with different spines, and I put those on my expensive arrows. I put those on my Victories, and I can't even think of the name of the arrows now. I mean, they're made by Victory.
They're the Rip SS.
I think they are.
Yeah, they're the Rips. Yeah. So that's because I got the green ones and you got the yellow ones.
And man, I've never killed a deer with a fixed blade broadhead. I don't think.
You did last year?
I don't think I had. So I tried it, and man, that first deer, that was a doe. I mean, I smoked her. I hammered her, and she ran, when we ended up finding her, she ran like 65 yards. There's all the dogs barking. Mm-hmm. She ran like 65 yards and piled up, and we couldn't find her. We had to get a dog to come in and find her.
Dude, I don't think a single drop of blood.
No.
made it to the ground from that
It
deer.
was the craziest thing I've ever seen in my life.
And I mean,
man.
you hit her right in the pot. Like I couldn't have walked up to her and stuck the arrow in a better spot.
So needless to say, I switched last year. What broadheads did I use last year?
You know which ones you used?
G5?
Oh yeah,
I don't think I
Mega
shot any,
Meats.
I
Yeah,
don't
you
think I
did.
shot anything with them. I'm
you
telling
didn't
you.
shoot anything with them. I did, but we both switched to them.
I'm gonna tell you right now, I killed that buck with a G5 Mega Meat,
Boy,
not dead meat, Mega Meat, and that sucker,
they work.
buddy, I think
They work.
I'm sold on them. If
They
you want a reliable mechanical, that's what I'd go with. I'll say that.
Man, everybody's different and everybody has different experiences with everything, I feel like, but for me, I trust that mechanical a lot. I like it. I've never had, the collars are good. I've never had one never had one like come undone from the collar. Even just like taking them in and out of the quiver over and over again. Like I don't think I've ever had to just knock, have those open up and have to put one back in the collar.
No.
Ever.
No. And
I mean, they work. I feel like we both, I mean, everything, the deer I shot, there goes my GSP. She sees us. She wants out. She's not getting out. She'll jump over this damn table. That dog's nuts. But every deer we shot, I got a pass through.
yeah.
I mean, granted, they were all, within 25 yards. We didn't make any long shots or anything like that. But I mean,
the hole that thing put in that buck, man, was unreal. I mean, it was crazy. So, I mean, if I was gonna do it, I wouldn't go back to the single bevel. I mean, the deer died quick, and she didn't run far.
no,
But
you couldn't find it. It just didn't leave a trail to find. That was the only problem with that, bro. It wasn't that.
And I'm really good at tracking deer too. I mean, I've had a lot of practice.
We almost found it, just on our own.
We were literally right there.
We probably got within 15 feet of it, but it literally balled up underneath of a I call them Christmas trees, like a cedar tree.
You couldn't see her.
No, you had to get in there on your hands and knees to go in there and find her.
Yeah, and there was no blood. I mean, there was no blood where she was laying.
No,
I mean, none. And
which was crazy.
Yeah, I think if you're gonna shoot every deer you see in the shoulder, maybe just you know, but I mean, I'm not gonna do that at least not on purpose. Everybody's gonna screw up and hit a shoulder eventually. But
I mean, some people have good luck with them. I think if you want a good blood trail, I think in our experience, I think mechanical's the move.
Yeah.
But I mean, there are people that swear, and I see people that do it all the time. And I mean, hey, if you're killing stuff with it and you're finding it, use what works. I mean, you know what I mean? But
yeah, I'm not saying they don't work. They work.
No,
I mean, and I'm sure that was probably
that was a wild thing.
I'm sure that was probably kind of a fluke or something. Maybe. I mean, I can't see them bleeding a lot, just because it's not that big of a hole. I think it's like an 1.1 cut. There's no third blade, so you're not going to get a triangular cut at all.
That's what I love about those Mega Meats is you have 3 blades. So say if you get a little, like if you get close to that shoulder and you nick a bone or you nick something that boogers up one of the blades, you still got 2.
Yeah,
even if you booger up 2 of them, you still got 1. Like.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man. My opinion, I think a 3 blade's better for a blood trail wise.
Yeah.
But
I mean, a lot of people swear by rages too.
Yeah, I've killed plenty of deer with 2-blade broadheads. I've killed deer with rages. I've killed.
I think G5 just came out with a 2-blade.
Yeah, they did.
T2
it looks like
it looks like the
Trypan, Rage Trypan. But there used to be a broadhead called a Blood Runner, and it was like a 2-blade, kind of a hybrid, it was like a half fixed, half mechanical. So it was already open like an inch.
Okay.
But the very tip of it, like the chisel point, pushed in. When it hit something, it would push in like an 1/8 inch, and it would open the blades up more.
Shoot.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And
So even if something fails and the chisel doesn't push the blades out, it's still open a little.
it's still open like an inch, so you
Okay.
still get an inch cut with as a fixed blade kind of.
Okay.
But then it opens up to like an 1.75 inches or something.
Okay.
You know, when it pushes in, which it's going to push in. There's no way for it to
Yeah,
not.
sure.
Those were pretty gnarly. I killed a couple deer with those things, and everybody was like, "Why are you shooting those pieces of shit?" And dude, I killed probably 4 or 5 deer with them, and they were just devastating blood
Really?
trails. And they were 2-blade.
That's what I like.
But I can't even find them anymore. Like, you can find knockoffs,
Yeah.
like on Amazon, like cheap.
I bet you can find them on eBay or something.
Yeah.
But especially down here, man, it's just, God, everything's so thick. You need a blood trail.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. I mean,
it's,
like you said, we were literally within 10 yards of that deer last year.
never would have
and
found her without that dog.
No. The dog went in there, and we actually called the dog back,
Yes,
and the
we were
dog
like,
didn't
"What's he
listen.
doing?"
Yeah, because we had no idea.
Mm-hmm.
And then we're like, oh, there's the deer. He's on it. I mean, it's just, but I knew, I've hunted that place so much, and I know how them deer move, and we've killed so many deer on that property that I kind of knew which way she'd go.
Yeah.
So it's we got lucky, man. We did. And that was when I came home, and those broadheads are still sitting up on the thing over there.
Yep. That's the day Wheeler came home from the hospital, isn't it? So when you shot that deer? Wasn't that one?
No. I killed that deer by myself.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, I didn't have no problem finding that one.
No, that's the day he was born. You showed up. Because you got home, and then Jesse was like, I think something's wrong. And then you guys went to the hospital because you had blood on your pants when you're holding Wheeler. Isn't that right? I don't know. It's all running together. I think you killed deer. I think you killed a deer the day he was born, and then I think
I killed
because you didn't know Jesse was you didn't know she was getting released from the hospital.
I killed one the day he was born, and I killed one the day he came home from the hospital.
Yeah.
Man, people are gonna think I'm terrible for deer hunting those days.
I mean, you didn't know that was you didn't.
No, I didn't. Well, so two.
I'll never forget that because you sent me pictures of the deer, and then all of a sudden you're like, "Dude, we're at the hospital. Wheeler's coming," and I'm like, "What?"
Yeah, this is a great story. Yeah, so I went hunting that morning, and
Wheeler's Justin's son.
It was the day that Wheeler was born, I think, that I killed that deer with that fixed blade. This is October 3rd. It was right at the beginning of season. And
yeah, whichever one the day that he was born you found.
We went and found him, and found her, got her to the processor. Jesse rode to the processor with me. We came home, and she goes, I'm gonna go take a nap. I'm not really feeling good. I was like, okay. She laid down and was taking a nap, and I just literally fell asleep on the couch watching hunting shows or something, and I woke up to her just screaming in the bedroom. She's like, she could barely walk, and I'm like, what the hell is going on? She's like, I don't know, it hurts. And I'm like, well, let's go, I'm taking your ass to the hospital. And she's like, what? And she's like, I don't know if I need to go to the hospital. I'm like, yes, you do. Let's go. So I throw her in the car, man, and she squalled the whole way there. And I'm like, I don't know what's going on. I had blood on my shirt, on my jeans, and get to the hospital, and they're like, you're having a kid. I'm like, shit. The doctors were all laughing because I had deer blood on me. Yep.
Oh, that was funny.
That was funny. He's getting ready to be a year old, man.
Ain't that crazy, man?
That's wild. That is wild.
He's a freaking chunk now. He's about to be running around your house, buddy. He's walking pretty good.
Yeah. Walking up and down the couch and stuff.
I can't wait till he starts talking. I'm going to teach him all kind of smart ass shit to say to you.
Yeah.
It's going to be great.
You don't have to teach him that.
Oh, shoot.
It was It was a fun season last year, though.
It was good. I'm looking forward to this one, man. I'm excited about it.
Well, this one's kicked off better for me than any other season that I've had in Tennessee. So.
Yeah, hell, you're already on the board, buddy.
Yeah, it's really hard, man. To at least the places that I've hunted down here, man. I've seen big deer, but I haven't seen a lot of big deer, and I think that's the thing down here, man. At least in this area that I'm in, like there is big deer, like really big deer, but there's just not as many as the Midwest. You know what I mean?
I get that.
And so it's a lot harder to kill a 150-inch deer down here, man. It really is.
Yeah, I mean, it's just not. I mean, that's why everybody goes to the Midwest to hunt.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, but the crazy thing is there are big deer here. Like if you follow like Tennessee deer hunter pages and stuff,
yeah,
I'm like, holy smokes, man, these are some massive deer.
Did I tell you about the deer that came into the taxidermist after mine? I didn't.
No. I seen one on Tennessee Deer Hunters Facebook page that was insane.
So when I dropped my buck off at the taxidermist, we hung out for like an hour and just bullshitted and whatever, and then we finally left, me and Mike. And when we came in the next day, I dropped my turkey off to him the next day because I got to talking to him, and I'm like, man, I'm just gonna bring my turkey to you too. I still have my turkey from this spring in the freezer.
I still got mine. I got to figure out what I'm going to do with it.
So I was like, I'm going to bring you my turkey in the morning. So I come back up there in the morning, and he goes, man, you should have stayed for another half hour. And I was like, what? Why? He goes, you should see the deer that came in. And I was like, well, is it in the freezer? And he's like, yeah, the rack's in the freezer. I'm like, bring it, dude. I want to see it. Come on. They taped it at 192.
Oh, my God.
It's a freaking giant, dude.
Jeez.
Like one of the biggest, that's one of the biggest deer I've ever seen in person. Like wild free ranging deer. It was a freaking giant. And pretty much typical too. He didn't have much. I mean,
that is insane.
It was impressive. It was impressive. And it was killed right here.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Man, that's awesome.
So they're here.
Yeah, they're here.
But that goes back to what I said earlier about trail cameras too, because he was like, he said the guy said he runs cameras and
never seen him.
He watches that field. He said he's never had a picture of this deer, didn't even know he was there. He was hunting another buck, and this one came out.
Dang.
And you know that deer's there.
Oh yeah,
because right now they're not traveling.
They're not moving,
miles.
dude. It's 100 degrees here. They're not moving around. They're staying close to water and food.
Them deer are moving maybe 500 yards a day, if that. Yeah. You know, so that deer was, it was a freaking stud, dude.
That's awesome.
I mean, it was just an absolute monster.
That's awesome.
But
well, Jackie's here. So you want to wrap this up?
Yeah.
Get on that.
Yeah, man. We got some more episodes coming here pretty quick. We got our friend Jackie Verna coming on. We're getting ready to shoot another episode with her. We haven't had her on yet.
Mm-hmm.
She was on The Voice and one of the best damn singers in this whole freaking town.
Yeah.
We got some people from Joe Nichols camp coming on the next couple episodes.
Oh yeah.
Should be fun. And we got to talk about some damn deer hunting again. Boy, it's back.
I know. I can't wait.
It's freaking back. We got one big buck already hit the ground this year.
Yep. Me and Justin been out in his backyard shooting his 3D course.
Yeah. It's been awesome. All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see y'all on the next episode.
See you guys.